Hey folks, Ryan Kennedy here. Let's chat about the 4 different ways there are to get the club face closed. Now I've got my little magnetic tool here to help you see where the club face is pointed. So of course, easiest checkpoint is down here at impact. We've got open, closed, and square. The other point of reference is right here on the downswing when the club gets parallel to the ground. Now, if this leading edge is about parallel to my spine angle, that'll be called square. So this is open, this is closed. Now, let's go over the 4 ways to get this club face closed. First way is extending this trail wrist. And you'll see that when you do that, you certainly can get the club face square. All right. Now, I think that is a decent amount of motion where the club has to travel a long ways while you're closing the club face. Second way, just twisting the handle. You can see from this perspective, it's not a whole lot of motion of the club or my body or my hands, and the club face changes position drastically. The third way you can get the club face square at impact is by rotating the body. So if you've got it in a good spot here, you can rotate without doing anything with the hands or arms, and that club face is square to the target. Fourth way to close the club face is if you take basically the club head, but also the center of mass of the golf club is located right about here. So we can think of it maybe in terms of the balance point, but because there's so much weight out here, the center of mass is here. Now, if the center of mass is traveling, I'll say behind or under where my hands are going, then the weight is going to act for you, and it's going to kick out and close the club face automatically without the player having to do anything. Okay, so there's your 4 ways. Extending the trail wrist, twisting the handle, body rotation, and the 4th one, using the center of mass. I think it's really important to understand what happens to so many amateur golfers in this game is that they begin the downswing by starting to extend the trail wrist. And although you can get that square at impact, most often it's going to be wide open on the way down. And so you've got to do some late catch up down here. What we always see the golfer doing is the body stops rotating so that the hands can scoop and get the club face square. Now notice also when the amateur pushes this way, they tend to actually twist the handle just a little bit this way, opening the club face. So that motion, that first motion of extension of the trail wrist is causing a whole host of problems. Final most, now that you've pushed it out here, that center of mass is nowhere near being behind where my hands are traveling. So I think this is a good look into why you see so many players on tour with this bowed lead wrist at the top. It's so that they can bring it down square and rotate without having to do everything by extending the wrist and creating that scoop and flip. Thanks so much for watching.